Hi, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft-related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today, I just want to talk about my celebration of the new season. It's autumn. It's the first day of fall. Some people considered it yesterday. I'm going with today. So this video is all about just celebrating, how I celebrate, and some tips on how you can celebrate as well, and what it means to me. So yeah, dig in, get something to drink, get something warm. It's that time of year. Get your pumpkin spice lattes if you're into that, and settle in. Mabon. So Mabon, depending on, how American you are trying to say it. This is the time of year. I think that is officially, for some people, tomorrow, the 23rd, if I understand correctly. But anyway, it's a pagan holiday, the Mabon. It's one of 8 Wiccan Sabbats celebrated throughout during the year. And that holiday basically just celebrates the autumnal equinox. Autumnal equinox. I struggle with that word. So the autumnal equinox is when the sun is exactly above the equator and day or night are equal length. So that's what that's about. So which brings us to how I celebrate, and that's seeking balance or maintaining balance or just trying to gain balance. This is, from a metaphysical point of view, that's what this holiday represents, or this season represents, balancing. Sorry, something's in my eye. Anyway, in order to maintain balance, this is a time I'm really focusing on meditation, self-reflection, overall wellness, and self-care. I also think this is a time of gratitude. So just to give a little bit about myself here and what I'm doing as I try to not stab myself in the eye. This is a very good time for me. My life is flourishing. I'm not going to lie. I'm very grateful to say so, which is where I'm getting into. I know, things can be difficult, blah, 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 but it's not difficult for me. I'm not having a hard time. I'm very happy. I like the things that I'm harvesting right now. The things that I did the workings for, the spells, the charms, the magic, the manifesting, all of those things, for lack of better words, have been paying off, and I'm reaping. So I'm harvesting right now. So this is a very great time for me. And with that, I realize, along with gratitude, which balances the scales, much has been given, and I need to show gratitude. I feel I need to have gratitude and show it, express it. To take this a little bit further, I need to also take all the blessings and the bounty that I have, and yes, enjoy, relish in it now. This is time for celebration. Please know, though, that the next season, things tend to get a little bit more reflective, a little bit more, for some, bleak. So it doesn't mean everything just stops. I have an eyelash that is just playing games with me right now. Sorry. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go downhill, and my lighting is funny. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go downhill. It just simply means that I need to be aware that all the blessings and bounties that I have now, to preserve that. Now, what are blessings and bounties? It could be money. It could be making sure that you have money saved up for the next season when things are colder, things slow down. It also, if you're in love, if you are in a good relationship, or whatever the bounty is that you did the workings for, now is the time to also, yes, enjoy. I'm not telling you not to enjoy anything, but also be aware of how to preserve that going into the next season. So your eyes are on the prize, you got the prize, you're enjoying it, but you do want to preserve it. So you have to think about what that means to preserve it. These holidays, these Sabbats and things that we celebrate, even though the various moon cycles, they all have deeper meaning. When you're practicing witchcraft, it's beyond just what am I going to get. There's a full moon, so can I, cast a spell to get something? Yes, get your stuff, get what you want to get, but also understand that you need to recognize what you already have, and this is the time of year to do so. Recognize what you have, count up your blessings, and while you're doing so, all the things that you brought into, that you've manifested, think about how to preserve it, meaning how do I either build upon this, how do I expand this, how do I continue to enjoy whatever it is that you're enjoying. So this is what you want to do. So for the sake of balance, because it's nice to have enjoyable moments, once in a lifetime things, but when you've been practicing for a while, you don't always want to be doing a money spell or a love spell or a confidence spell or a promotion spell or whatever it is, you're not all the time, but you're finding you're doing this in cycles. And if you really pay attention and you're writing stuff down, you might see that you're doing this in a cyclical fashion. And after a while, you kind of want to get into why is it not lasting? And this is the time of year to explore that self-reflection. Why is these blessings not lasting? Why are the results of the spell, I get it, but I can't seem to expand upon it. So that's something to think about. As far as gratitude, I'll be making a list of gratitude a list of gratitude, that's what I'm calling it, but things I'm grateful for. I'll be writing this in my grimoire. But along with that, I think of how can I give more? And it's not about money necessarily. It's also giving, just actually giving. How can I give more? Give more knowledge, give more time, whatever, to others, certain causes, certain beliefs, or just immersing myself in understanding something, learning something, giving my attention. Which goes into another thing, since we're talking about balance. Now's the time to be very aware of where you're giving your attention to, because you don't want to be wasting your attention when it could be going someplace else to better yourself, to better your situation. Making offerings, perfect time. Again, we're talking about balancing the scale. Make an offering, even if you feel like, I'll be honest with you, if you feel like a lot has been taken from you this year, still make whatever offering that you find appropriate. And ideas for offerings are not just, some people do like plate of food to ancestors. Yeah, that's fine too. It could be pouring water out. It could be oils. It could be actual object, jewelry, something, an offering. And how how your ritual goes, that's how it goes, but it's an offering. And who are you offering something to? Well, that's for you to decide. For me, I work with deities, I work with ancestor, I work with spirit in general. So there you go. Celebrating this time of year or this season, or even just Mabon, you can set up a Mabon altar. I think it's a great time for kitchen magic. So if you always wanted to kind of take your hand at kitchen magic, or you don't really know how to do it, you think you don't know what you're doing, but play with it. Now's a great time to do it. Bake an apple pie, get in there, bake. It's a good time to do basically all the things you think that are celebrated this time of year: stews, soups, excuse me, bread, beans, all that sort of stuff. This is a great time to get in the kitchen and intentionally cook your food. Also, celebrate by focusing on the home. So this is definitely up my alley. So it's protection magic, abundance type magic, healing energy, any whatever you want to do, a ritual, some sort of working. If you want to bring in some sort of object, whether it's crystals, things like that, this is a great time to do that sort of stuff. Just kind of shore up your property, shore up your space. And if you want to have more information, if you really are interested in more about Mabon particularly, I would suggest buying the book, The Modern Witchcraft Guide to the Wheel of the Year. Now, I got mine through Kindle Unlimited, and I have a Kindle Fire. So I use, but you don't have to have a Kindle Fire to use that, by the way. You can also read it on a computer or any other device. You can download the Kindle app. It's $10 a month, and you have access to a lot of books, including popular witchcraft books. So that might be something you might want to do, and you can check out 10 digital books at a time. Yeah, I think it's 10 at a time. Worth it. I've had it for a few years now. They've not gone up on the rate. It's like I said, 10 bucks. I think it's worth it because I read often and I read all types of books. So I was able to get this, and I wanted to read that because I wanted to also, for my sake, every year I like to read a little bit more. Even though I know the stories and I know the lore and I know the history, I still read it. So it's just something I do. It's a ritual, if you will. So if you're like me or you don't know a lot of the details, go ahead and check it out there. I recommend that book because it was easy to understand. And it wasn't too long, you know. It wasn't a whole book. I know that there is an entire book about it, but yeah, and that's fine if you want to go all in as well. But I needed a little bit. I don't need to read the whole book. So a little bit more details about specifically how I'm celebrating right now as far as the change of the season in Mabon. So part of this is like more in the next day or so, and the rest is just celebrating the season. So I'll be making an offering of gratitude to my ancestors. I'm going to be taking the time. This is something I'm doing throughout this season. I'm making an intentional effort to have more time communing with my ancestors, more time connecting with the goddesses that I commune with, and so forth, and potentially a god, and also with spirit in general, and just really take that. And meditation is going to be a part of that. When I talk about like just spirit or just the universe, just taking the time and just flow energetically and just flow, releasing energy, pulling in, and just kind of creating like this flow of energy within me and out, and just kind of taking an intentional, but yet not, it won't be forced moment to just really be aware of the energetic force or the energy that's always around us. You know, we are energy. Everything on us is vibrating. We're not perfectly still. It appears that way by the naked eye, but that's not the case. Just tapping into that and becoming aware of that intentionally, taking time to do that. I think that's very great. And it's like kind of like just tap, even though you're tapped in, but intentionally tapping in. That's my thing. Anyway, having a ritualistic meal. I want to do this at least twice for sure. I'm going to be doing that soon. And when I say ritualistic meal, the meal is prepared, the whole meal prep, cooking and consuming of the meal, all of that is a ritual, basically. So there's that. I'm going to be taking account of my gains. So we're talking about balance again, since this time last year. So what have I gained? This is not a time to beat yourself up for what you haven't done and what you've lost. What have you gained? Let's focus on that. At least that's what I'm doing. What have I gained? Because it's about harvesting. So if you're harvesting, you're not spending time on what you didn't get. You're spending time on what do I have? And the next piece, how can I preserve it? How can I preserve what I have? So I have created a very unique lifestyle for myself. And I plan on just taking stock of that, and I'll be writing it down in my grimoire. And I think that's helpful. Also, it's a sign of gratitude because you're acknowledging all that you've done, and especially if you petition anyone else, you know, if you petition ancestors or any other sort of spirit to aid you in my case, and recognizing and just having acknowledgement is also a form of gratitude. So I'll be doing that. And like I said, I'll be recording this in my grimoire. Physically deep cleaning my space, organizing my home, and then of course doing a spiritual cleanse and blessing of my home. I think this is a great time to do that. And that's something I don't have to necessarily do on today, today or tomorrow. Excuse me. It is something that I'll be doing throughout this season. basically something I would want to have done before we go into the winter solstice, basically. My house is fairly new. I've only lived here for a year. There's only so much deep cleaning I need to do. It's more like furniture pieces, like this piece next to me, like the little lantern I have here, like really deep cleaning and getting in there and cleaning stuff and seeing if I want to replace things as well. I have a deadline, like I said, before the winter solstice, before Yule. That's something that I want to get done. So that's a seasonal project that I'll be doing. And the purpose of doing that, by the way, of physically cleaning, like deep cleaning, some people say spring cleaning, but I look at it because this is the witch's New Year is upon us. So I like to start things fresh. And I think clutter can affect you spiritually. It can affect you emotionally, but it can definitely affect you spiritually as well. So that is what that's about. So I like to have a cluttered free space if possible. Now, I am a girl who likes a little bit of clutter. I like my tchotchkes and my stuff. So my clutter does not mean probably, maybe someone else's definition of decluttering, but for me. And remember, all this is attuned to me and my standards and what I want to do. So that's what that's about. But yeah, so that's what I'm basically doing to celebrate. Any sort of spell work or anything like that, I'll add that in. And I'll talk more about that as this season progresses. But for the most part, this is where I'm at right now. This is my focus right now. It's more gratitude than anything. I am so incredibly grateful for all the blessings and all the bounty that is here for me, that I have manifested into my life. So if you take nothing from this time of year, take that. Just take stock, look at your gains. You can figure out the losses later. Let's look at what you've gained. What have you gained? Even if it's just knowledge. It's not always about money. It's not always about that. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is Mika, Lead Taken. Please go ahead and like the video and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And if you have already subscribed, I really appreciate that. And thanks again for watching. Bye.